Okay, Sweepy, it's your heat, so I need you to be on your A game. I'll just leave you here for a moment. Yes. What the heck was that? Oh, what the f- Welcome back to LEGO Wars and Heat J of Series 4. Last time out it was utter domination from us seeds Shatterstar and Tantrum as they made strong claims for high seedings in the bracket. This week it's a pair of heat-winning veterans as the seeds as last year's international champs Duck return as the 6th seeds alongside fan favourite Sweepy, now seeded 19th. Let's see who is brave enough to challenge this duo.
First, from Palo Alto, California in season number 6, Duck.
Despite the high seeding, Duck comes into Series 4 on the back of some wayward form in the specials and will hope for a return to their international winning performances tonight.
From Great Yarmouth in season number 19, Sweepy.
The flagship robot of the series had some teething troubles with the new drivetrain during the specials, but now with that fixed, this could be the most dangerous Sweepy yet.
From Adelaide, Australia, Annie.
The undercutter gained the dubious achievement of being the first robot to go pointless in the heats last year, but with wins since that disappointment, they look much more promising.
Spinnery tangle. Oh my days.
From Durham, Firestorm.
A new machine, but a legend of Robot Wars, Firestorm aims to hold up front in order tonight to flip their way to the bracket.
From Snodland, Block and Napalm.
This second-year external bot returns with an improved axe, but I'm concerned the chassis may no longer be able to handle the ever-improving spinners. We'll kick off the action tonight with an all-flipping affair between the 6th seeds Duck and the rookies Firestorm.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Classic BattleBots versus Robot Wars battle here in LEGO form, of course. Both machines clashing in the centre of the arena. No robot was really able to take advantage of that. Duck now getting underneath the side of Firestorm. Duck seeded 6th with this series of LEGO Wars due to former success. Former international champions, don't forget. And they've just pried off one of Firestorm's side panels using their lifter, which I think is the most damage Duck's ever done to an opponent, to be honest. Firestorm now sitting on top of that panel. Like I said, Duck, former international champions. But they did lose in round 1 of the international championships earlier on this year. Firestorm, meanwhile, complete newcomers to LEGO Wars. This is their first series. They entered the Rookies' Cup earlier this year, lost in round 1 to eventual winners Kraken. No disgrace there, I guess. So they'll be looking to make up for that loss here and show us what they can do. There's a little front hinge flipper of theirs. Of course, they are a Robot Wars legend. However, just because you're a Robot Wars legend doesn't mean it translates well into LEGO form. Duck being pinned against the arena sidewall by Firestorm, though, making me eat my own words, using its little lifting head face shovel thing to sort of get itself away from there, and now managing to get themselves caught in behind the flipper of Firestorm. Now, can Firestorm use this to their advantage? Almost sort of using their lifter as a sort of snagging device, but Duck were able to get away and come in at the side now. Firestorm would lift them up into the air and nearly flipping them over, but Firestorm lucky to land back on their wheels there. One of the panels at the top has now fallen off. A little bit of a flick from the flipper to prove that they're okay, I think. More panels coming off of Firestorm, though. This is definitely the most damage Duck's ever done to an opponent before. Whether that's because Firestorm's really poorly built or because Duck's all of a sudden a killing machine, I'm not too sure. We'll find out later as this heat goes on. I am certain the pit hasn't been opened yet, so Duck can't really take advantage of the situation that they've got right now. They've got a sort of weird grabbing hold on Firestorm. Can Firestorm get away from here, or will we need an unstick situation? Not too sure. The judges will be keeping note. Firestorm being dragged across the arena like some sort of carcass being dragged away to a cave by a bear. If a duck was a bear, of course. Firestorm being pushed across the arena floor here. There is something wrong here, and Firestorm now managing to get away. Well, a little bit of a power spurt there. I thought they were going to have to call it there for an unstick. They were on the verge of doing so, I think, but Firestorm out of nowhere able to get away, and now trying to push back against Duck, maybe towards the screws. Duck backing towards those screws, and that meant that Firestorm could take advantage of that situation. That was bad driving by Duck, leading themselves on into a dangerous situation. Tight battle this one. Neither machine has been overly effective against the other. I would argue maybe Duck, just simply due to the fact that this weapon has done more work to Firestorm throughout this fight. The pit button has finally been pressed. Firestorm on the edge of the pit. They're going to have to be careful of that now, especially with Duck's four-wheel drive and pushing power into the final 10 seconds. Like I said, I think Duck's weapon usage might have just been enough to secure the victory here. But Firestorm didn't give up without a fight and gave it a good go as well. Very close fight towards the end of this battle, and it goes to the judges. Both machines started well, I think, slamming straight into each other. Duck causing damage there, look, with its lifter. Firestorm, yes, it was able to push Duck around a bit, but its weapon was never the most effective. That there was the only real thing it managed to do throughout the entire fight. Again, Duck managing to get that lifter underneath and nearly flip Firestorm, and out pushing it at the end as well. I think Duck might have just swung this one.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Duck. Not quite the all-out brawl I was hoping for to start the night, but Duck will take the 2 points to get their batteries sorted out for their next fight. Next up, it's Sweepy's opening fight against Block of Napalm.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
It's great to see number 19 seed Sweepy back in the arena, although a good start there from Block of Napalm. Good box rush using their front face plow thingy to stop the bar spinner from spinning up, and if they could keep doing that, we could be on the verge of an upset here. Block of Napalm renowned for not doing very well last time around, but they did have a very, very famous victory against Pain. Oh, in the heat! And they're feeling some pain now as their front face plow gets completely ripped off. Fair play to them, though. They're still coming in on the aggressive, bringing in those swinging mandibles, hoping to do some damage to Sweepy. Sweepy seeded 19th for this series, don't forget. It may look like a bit of a novelty machine, but it is a deadly robot. It made it to the round of 32 last time, lost there the 2 Jeff 2 Fabulous. They're looking for revenge this time around. I think Jeff have already gone, haven't they, this series? Which is a shame for them. Sweepy, a very, very dangerous machine, very deadly. Lego Wars legends and Lego Wars favourites. They've never quite managed to get into the big one. Can they finally go all the way this time around? At the moment, it's looking very promising. Block of Napalm have been absolutely torn to shreds, and one of the wheels is gone as well. The chassis has been split too. It has been absolutely mullered. And Sweepy doing his little victory jig in the centre of the arena. Somehow Block of Napalm's weapon's still going. How am I supposed to do commentary on this? Look at it. It's just flopping and flapping and flailing around. They've got 3 seconds to move. They're not going to, are they? They're done for. Block of Napalm absolutely splattered. And Sweepy, the number 19 seeds, look very, very dangerous. Well, credit to Block of Napalm for trying. That was a very good box rush at the start of the fight, but then they held back a little bit too long, and that allowed Sweepy to get that spinner up to speed. Off came the face, off came the rear, off came the chassis, off came the wheel, and away went their hopes of a victory in this fight. Look at the damage there. The shots from Sweepy Spinner are absolutely unmatched, I think, this series. Terrifying stuff from the number 19 seeds. They could go far this year.
The shuffling issues appear to be a thing of the past for Sweepy as they stroll to an easy win. Now let's see if the fresh batteries for Duck will help spur them on against the new Purple Annie.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Duck have so far managed to secure 2 points after their victory against Firestorm earlier via the judges, but with an open heat like this one, they will definitely want to secure a good KO victory here. Annie, are you okay? Meanwhile, the robot from Down Under representing Team Panic, and Ben, of course, looks a lot better than it did last time. Hopefully it'll perform better than it did last time as it nearly gets flicked over there. It did perform very well last time around. In fact, I don't think it won a single fight last year, so yes, excellent stuff. Oh, something went flying there, and I think that might have been off Annie, actually. I think it was one of the side panels went flying. Duck now, pinning them against you in the side wall, trying to flick them over. Didn't do it on that occasion. Annie, are you okay? Driving into the side wall. Terrible control, as ever, let's be honest. Nearly flicked up and over again there by Duck. Something's come a little bit loose on Duck's lifter there. I don't know if you saw it. It was flailing and flapping away. Well, let's be fair now. Ducks usually do get into a bit of a flap, don't they? Ha ha ha. I'll stop there. Good little drive there from Duck, pushing Annie UK into the pit release button, using that that front of theirs as a good deflector for that spinner. No real damage has been done. And Annie, are you okay? Very good driving there. Very good evasive driving to get away from the pit as quickly as they did. One of Duck's arms has come loose off of the shovel. And that means that that weapon will not lift as well as it has been so far. It's come off completely, in fact. Annie, are you okay? Could we see a huge upset here? I was just mentioning that shovel on Duck is a very good spinner deflector, but now it's been ripped away. We could still see an upset as the number 6 seeds are now reeling. But they are pushing Annie okay into the corner and keeping that spinner at bay. That is the thing with Duck. It is a very solid robot. Only Tantrum and Waddle Dee, from what I can remember, have managed to cause severe damage to this machine. Then again, I'm an old man. I'm probably forgetting one or two along the way. There's been a series of LEGO Wars at this point. Can you believe we're on the 4th series already? Feels like yesterday I did commentary for the first series. Duck pinning Annie. Are you okay? Against the arena side wall once again. Good driving by Duck here, keeping that spinner at bay. Can they eke them towards the pit? Not at that time. Now trying to get them towards the screws though, and those screws have come in very effective in this series. They were obviously introduced to this series of LEGO Wars. They've been very effective so far, and I think, Annie, are you okay? Are being snagged by them at the moment? Are they? Can they get away from them? They've been pushed up against them, and they have been toppled. Lucky not to land on top of the screws there. They were able to get away. Now, Annie, we know that they struggle when being flipped on their lid, and they seem to be struggling again here with mobility once being flipped, although they are still moving. They are okay. Fantastic. So they have still got invertibility, which is good, especially when you have been flipped up and over, obviously. Why do I do this again? Why do I do this? Annie, are you okay? Stuck against the arena side wall, and they're going to have to do something really big now, I think, because in my opinion, Duck are by far on top at the moment. Yes, they lost their plough, but other than that, this has all been Duck for me. There's 5 seconds left, so it is going to go to the judges. Duck were not able to finish off their opponent.
6.
But I think we could see another solid judges' decision victory here for Duck, but we'll see what the judges say. Good battle that was. Duck, in my opinion, certainly started the stronger, showed more aggression and more control early on. Got several good lifts in as well. Annie, are you okay? Did more damage to itself in the early stages. They were able to come back and rip off the plough. Other than that, though, I think Duck were mostly in control. They nearly had Annie down the pit a couple of times as well. They even managed to use good driving here to pin them into the screws and topple them over. For me, Duck are the clear winners here, but I'm not a judge. Let's see what they say.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Duck. Much more like it from both robots as Duck edges back to the top. Meanwhile, Firestorm are back in action to get some points on the board against Block of Napalm.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Both these robots will be desperate to claw some points here. Firestorm on 1 point after that judges lost earlier on. Block of Napalm lost, of course, by a very decisive KO against Sweepy. I thought we were going to get another one there. I thought Firestorm were going to get underneath and flip them up and over, but instead they're pushing them back towards the corner. Block of Napalm trying to use those swinging mandibles of theirs, but not really to much effect at the moment. They're more tapping them than hitting them, really, aren't they? Let's be honest. Firestorm, good driving to get underneath them there and trying to push them away, but not managing to really get them along. Now, Firestorm has struggled with pushing power in the past, at least the heavyweight robot version did. What on earth has happened in the Block of Napalm? One of its side panels has just come loose. They obviously hadn't fixed it as well as they thought they had. Then again, it was absolutely mullered earlier by Sweepy. The fact they got it back in the arena this well is a minor miracle in itself, to be honest. And they have managed to get those mandibles in to a panel gap there on Firestorm. Firestorm now driving around to the side, trying to get underneath the high ground clearance of theirs. But you can't get underneath them, chaps, if you're not going to put your wedge towards them. That's a little bit better now. Pushing them back towards the side wall. A bit of a tentative battle, this one, really, isn't it? Neither machine really managed to get the grips with the other in an effective way. Block of Napalm just taken off their side panel completely. It took 3 attempts, but they finally got the pit down. Better late than never, I guess. Firestorm underneath once again. Now, that's what they want to do. Get underneath the side, get right underneath them and flip them over, but they couldn't manage to take advantage of it in that occasion. And Block of Napalm doing damage in LEGO Wars, are we sure? I don't think so. I mean, they beat Pain last year, so I guess anything's possible, but wow, okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of speechless on that one. Fair play. Fair enough. Anyway, Firestorm now underneath them once again. They're pushing them back against the arena side wall. Now they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to work really hard, if you ask me, because as far as I'm concerned, Block of Napalm have certainly won on weapon effectiveness as of this point of the fight. Their weapon has actually done something, unlike Firestorm's. Although I think that front panel of Firestorm is giving Block of Napalm some issues. I think they were stuck there. Are they? Can they get away from there? Are they still stuck? Can they wiggle themselves free? Are they going to be counted out? I thought that for a minute there, Firestorm were going to throw themselves down the pit. Well, yes, it looks to be over for Block of Napalm. Firestorm doing the victory salute, the victory spin, and Block of Napalm look finished. Or are they? No, they move! Wow, out of nowhere, I think there was 2 seconds left on the clock there, and they moved. Now, was that because Firestorm nudged them, or was it just because they got loose? I'm not too sure. If that was because Firestorm nudged them, that was terrible tactics by the Firestorm team. Underneath the Block of Napalm again, Block of Napalm. You know what? It's done one thing in the entire fight, and that, in my opinion, is the most decisive thing so far, although it also did get stuck for a while, so I'm not too sure. We're into the final 10 seconds, so this is going to go to the judges. I'm not too sure what they're going to make of it. What was the more decisive thing, the damage or the fact that Block of Napalm got stuck? But it doesn't matter because they've been pitted right on the buzzer, but I think they just went down before the cease. What on earth was that fight all about? I have no idea. Block of Napalm nearly flipped over at the start, but managed to survive. Pushed around a little bit there, of course, by Firestorm. Also did damage to its own side panel. Here, look. In attempting to hit the pit button, they lost their side panel there. Then they caused the most decisive hit of the fight, in my opinion, by taking off that front panel. But then they got stuck on that front panel. Had it gone to the judges, I think that would have been enough to have gotten Firestorm the nod. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because they got dumped down the pit instead.
I can only thank Firestorm for ending that fight before time so we don't have to think about judging that nauseating fight. Annie, Sweepy, please bring some more entertainment than your last encounter. These two fought earlier in the year during the international special when Sweepy got a perfect snipe on the drive battery. We're after more action though, folks, so please make this more entertaining.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now this was the fight I was looking forward to. 2 faces, 2 big spinny things, and some terrible control as evidenced there by Annie, Are You Okay? Bits and pieces flying on the first impact. Annie, Are You Okay?'s face has been caved in, but Annie does have that undercutting spinner, and I think with a good bit of drive here and a good bit of aim, they could take out the shuffling banks of Sweepy and cause a huge upset, but they have to keep their control together. They also have to make sure they don't kick around their own face, and they have to avoid that very scary spinner of Sweepy's because it is absolutely terrifying. Good driving there by Annie, able to get around the side of the robot, go for the shuffling banks, and I thought they might try and do that. Also aiming to go for the rear of Sweepy as well, but a huge shot there, and goodness me, I think the chassis got a little bit split there. Certainly the front foundations did, top panels going flying as well. Sweepy though is a slow turner, we do know this, and it is a slow machine. Annie, Are You Okay? Very quick, not the most controlled of robots, but it is very quick, and it can get around the back of Sweepy. That's exactly what they're trying to do. That's where the batteries are, don't forget, on Sweepy. Try and take out one of those batteries. They could have themselves an upset on their hands, although I think Annie's spinner is struggling to work properly now, or is it? It is getting back up to speed. I thought for a minute that the spinner was in trouble. Look at the dangerous spinner of Sweepy's, though. It does not mess around, that machine. It doesn't stop and start like most others do. It hits and it keeps spinning, and it hits hard. And trust me, when something hits you that hard, you want it to stop for a few seconds, but unfortunately for most it doesn't. Although, look there at the back, look, can you see it? That little, I think it's a connector pack or something has come loose, and off comes the back panel now of Sweepy as well, and all of a sudden the number 19 seeds are looking very fragile here. We could see a huge shock on our hands. The shuffling banks attack there once again by Annie, Are You Okay? Now trying desperately to come back in for another shot on the back. I think that was damage already previously done, what we just saw there. I thought that was the panel that was already taken off, but another good shot there at the rear end of Sweepy. Doesn't make too pleasant thinking, does it? But Sweepy now looking in a lot of trouble here. Yes, they managed to get a few good shots in earlier on, but they are limping now. Yes, some more damage onto Annie, Are You Okay there, but what is the more serious damage? Random armor panels or actual electronics? And speaking of actual electronics, I think that shot there from Sweep may have conked out Annie, Are You Okay? There's no movement in those wheels, is there? Oh, I tell you what, talk about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. I thought Annie, Are You Okay? Had a huge shock on their hands there, but that one snipe shot there from that deadly spinner of Sweepy's is all it took to turn the tides. Annie have got 4 seconds to move. It's not going to happen. And Sweepy, whilst limping, secure another 3 points. What a battle that was. Honestly, could be a contender for fight of the series if you ask me. Lots of big hits from both machines, damage all around, good evasive driving and tactical driving as well. It ticked all my boxes for certain. Sweepy on the ropes throughout most of that fight, but one good shot there secured them the victory and dashed Annie's hopes.
My prayers are answered after a brutal bout gives Sweepy a perfect score at half-time. Duck can retake the lead if they beat Block of Napalm in our next fight, where the latter needs points to stay in.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Block of Napalm desperately needs to get some points on the board here. They're currently sat at the bottom with 0 after losing to via KO twice so far. Duck, meanwhile, pretty comfortable position so far on the board. 4 points under their wing, I guess you could say. But they really do want to get some KO victories in to secure themselves a place in the bracket. Otherwise, they may have to rely on the play-ins. The pit button has been pressed there. Duck, good driving to get away from the edge of the pit. So too from Block of Napalm. Good little fight of this so far at the moment. For me, Duck by far on top, though, because of the aggression and the control and the fact that it's a good robot. Block of Napalm trying desperately, though, to bring those mandibles in. Not really working out too well at the moment. Good little love tap there on the top of Duck, but let's be fair now, Duck is a very, very solid robot. Very few spinners have managed to cause much damage to Duck, let alone axes like Block of Napalm. A little bit of a sort of snagging attack there from Block of Napalm. They were almost doing like a little dance together there. Good little lift here, though, once again from Duck, nearly flipping over Block of Napalm and now throwing itself over and on top of Block of Napalm. Not really too sure what the point of that was, although the front plough Block of Napalm has been pried away there. So that is damage, and that I guess you could count as a point towards weapon effectiveness towards Duck, because it was their weapon usage that did do that damage. Push there once again from Duck. The pit is wide open and begging for an opponent to be pushed into it. And with a well-timed and well-judged and well-executed push, Duck could very well have Block of Napalm down the pit just like that. Great work there from the US machine. Block of Napalm trying to drag them down with them. Why not? Duck just completely outclassing Block of Napalm there, slamming them into the sidewall straight away, getting around the sides, outmaneuvering them and outdriving them at every single possibility. The weapon was much more effective from Duck as well, and all in all, Block of Napalm didn't really have much hope. They got lifted up here, they had their face pancaked by Duck there, look, as well, which was very funny. And then Duck, with some great pushing and timing, got them down into the pit, securing 3 points.
Block of Napalm gets the dubious honour of being the earliest in the heat to be confirmed as out as Duck returns to the top. Firestorm meanwhile has a chance to push Annie to the brink if they can topple the shuffler.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Can anything stop Sweepy on its warpath? It's had 2 very decisive and very violent KO victories so far, and I'm not too sure Firestorm was the machine to put a stop to that current success record. 6 points for Sweepy. Sat at the top of the table thus far. Damage done there to the flipper of Firestorm. It was a brave attempt there from Firestorm, it has to be said, to bring the flipper up. Try and use it as a deflector against that bar spinner, but it didn't quite work out well for them. And that flipper, I think, now is not only taking some damage, but I think is permanently stuck up. A little piece more coming off of the flipper there. More damage being done, courtesy of that spinner of Sweepy. It's little shuffling banks trundling along. Good work there by Firestorm to get around the side of Sweepy, but they haven't got the pushing power to push them along. Remember, Sweepy has those little rubber feet on those banks, which means it has a lot of grip on the arena floor, and it also means it has a lot of friction when attempting to push it. Down goes the pit, courtesy of Firestorm. Took a couple of attempts. Oh, goodness me! And a huge shot there from Sweepy, pulling apart a good quarter of the robot there has just been splattered across the arena. Now, Firestorm all of a sudden moving a lot quicker than it was earlier, and I'm wondering if maybe that was their tactic, shed some weight perhaps, so they can move a little bit quicker. I'm honestly not too sure, to be honest. I will give Firestorm this though, they're not giving up, and they are using good evasive driving and control throughout this fight. Off comes the entire flipper though! Well, again. There was no argument anyway, but you could definitely give weapon effectiveness to Sweepy now, surely. But is the control and aggression from Firestorm going to be enough to outclass it? I doubt it. I'm just trying to trying to build some tension here. I'm trying to make it sound closer than it is for your benefit. Let's be real though, I think you guys all know what way this is going at the moment. I think it's just a question of damage limitation and whether or not Firestorm can rack up an extra point by the judges, because it is still going. It is still being aggressive. It is still using relatively decent control in order to try and outmaneuver that spinner. It isn't working very well, but it is happening nonetheless. More pieces coming up. You can see all the gizmos in Firestorm there. Look, spinning and twirling around, and that's interesting. Not often do you see robots' internals twisting and turning like that. Then again, to be fair, you're not supposed to see him twisting and turning like that, are you? When you can see that happening, it proves something's gone terribly wrong. Firestorm on the attack now, though, on Sweepy, the number 19 seed. And being edged, actually, towards that pit. We could still see a surprise here. If Firestorm can get underneath Sweepy and shove them in the pit, we will see the number 19 seeds being upset here. I don't think it's going to happen, but fair play to Firestorm, they're still going, and if they can make it to the judges, they will have at least managed to secure themselves an extra point, which is all important and all decisive in whether or not they get to the play-ins or even indeed the bracket. They are into the final 6 seconds, so they are going to make it to the judges, and that will pull a stop in Sweepy's reign of terror so far. They couldn't get that third KO in this heat. KO or no KO, Sweepy was still absolutely phenomenal there, causing horrendous damage to Firestorm, damaging the flipper, damaging the side, damaging the front of the robot, tearing the flipper off completely. Fair play to Firestorm, they survived to the judges, which is more than can be said for Sweepy's previous 2 opponents. But let's be real here, I don't think it's going to take them long to decide who's won this one. And despite the good aggression and control from Firestorm, I personally think Sweepy have managed to win on all 3 criteria here. Very, very impressive stuff from the seeds.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Sweepy. The ongoing swapping at the top continues as Sweepy confirms their spot in the bracket once more as we move on to fight 8 of the night and Block of Napalm's final fight against Annie, with the latter needing points to stay in the hunt.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Everything to play for here for Annie. Are you okay? They currently have 1 point on the board and a strong KO victory here, and 3 points could potentially see them as a potential threat to getting into the redemption rounds. It's all over for Block of Napalm, I believe, as far as this series is concerned. Even if they do get a victory here, it won't be enough for them to secure enough points to make it to the redemption rounds. So they are looking for some consolation points, I guess you could say. They are currently sat at 0. After all, Annie, are you okay? Have caused some damage there to the rear end of Block of Napalm. Block of Napalm going for the pit release button. Annie, are you okay? Go down! What just happened? Oh, for crying out loud, forget everything I just said about getting some points and hopefully making it to the redemption round. Annie, are you okay? Can just not catch a break. Another loss this time around. Despite doing all the work early on, Block of Napalm hit the pit release button and Annie got caught out by it.
Annie, what on earth was that? Block of Napalm takes a surprise win as Annie crashes out. I believe we can get a live reaction from the driver of Annie.
I was trying! We'll take a bite out!
And well, that pretty much sums that up as Firestorm and Annie go into their last fights tonight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Well, after that unfortunate loss in the last round, I think Annie, Are You OK's campaign for this series has once again ended. Firestorm, all they need to do is survive and hopefully get some more points, and they could even be in for a chance at the bracket. If not, they will have to go through the redemption rounds, but they'll be happy with that at least, I think. Damage has definitely been done to the side of Firestorm. One of those wheels is exposed. One of the side panels have been torn away there as well. Annie, are you okay? They've got the big boggle eyes on the front. It's a fun-looking robot, isn't it, Annie? It's just a shame it never does well in LEGO Wars. Come on! Get some consolation points. Off comes the face again. And we're hoping that Annie, Are You Okay can maybe pick up a victory here. It's looking solid and good for them so far. That wheel of Firestorms is exposed. More damage being done on the front of the former 3-time Robot Wars Grand Finalist. The back panel's been torn away. Can we see more damage done? Another huge shot there from Annie. Why is it now waking up? Where was this earlier in the heat? More damage being done to Firestorm. This is rougher than a game of Aussie Rules football, for crying out loud. Bits and pieces going flying out the arena even. This is amazing stuff from Annie, Are You Okay? It's just a shame it's come so late. Firestorm's just shedding more and more pieces of armour as this fight goes on. And yet, somehow, someway, Annie and UK will still find a way to lose this fight. I'm not too sure how they're going to at this point, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did, knowing their track record. Oh dear, more damage! And Firestorm nearly flicked them over there. And we know that Annie do not do well upside down. Oh, more damage being done there, though, to Firestorm. I think the chassis being tripped away at now. Another huge hit there from Annie. Are you okay? Sending bits and pieces scuttling across the arena. They do have lost some armor panels. Look, they just sent one of them flying across the arena floor there. Firestorm, I think, once again trying to use their flipper more as a deflecting device here, keeping it down like that so it can sort of keep the spinner of Annie. Are you okay? At bay. Good, interesting tactic. To be fair, the fact that they fix it after the damage look against Sweepy is pretty impressive. Then again, I think they've taken a bit more damage here against Annie. Are you okay, to be honest? It's certainly a lot more decisive, this fight, if you ask me at the moment. Annie, are you okay? Are by far on top, and we could very well see Annie, are you okay? Pick up a famous victory here. I say famous victory, a victory, which, to be fair, considering it's Annie, are you okay, would be pretty famous after all. Not going for the pit release button. I think that was a wise choice, actually, there from the Aussie machine, just simply because of their control issues that they've had in the past. They didn't want to risk going down the pit after opening the pit there. Another huge shot there from Annie, are you okay? We're into the final 10 seconds. This one is going to go to the judges. I don't think it's going to be a KO win, but a judges win to end their campaign for this series is nothing to be sneezed at, and they should be happy with themselves with that performance against Firestorm. It's always great to see a robot finally wake up. It's just a shame it always happens too late in the competition. Annie may have lost its face, but Firestorm lost practically everything. Its side panels, its front wedge, its back panel as well, the bits of its flipper. And by the end of it, Firestorm wasn't very recognisable and was literally just a shell of its former self. Annie, are you okay? Looking very deadly and dangerous in its final outing for this series.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Annie. See, Annie, this is what we knew you could do, and now you have to sit and watch Firestorm take third place. Okay, rant over, let's move on to our final fight tonight, and despite these robots being here since the dawn of LEGO Wars, this is the first confrontation these two have had, and with bracket positions on the line, let's see who is topping tonight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So, as usual, the two seeds clash in the final fight of the heat. Duck seeded 6th, Sweepy seeded 19th. Despite that huge gap. Oh, wait a minute, Duck in now, getting underneath. Look at that, and nearly flicking Sweepy up and over. No machine has ever managed to successfully flip Sweepy, and Duck came very, very close there. Now, despite the fact that there's quite a big gap in the seeding, these two machines did actually make it to the same round last round. They made it to the round of 32, lost there to Tantrum and 2Jeff2 Fabulous respectively. Oh, off goes the plough of Duck. That's the second time it's happened in this heat. It happened earlier against Annie, it's happened here against Sweepy now. Good fight this between these two machines. We thought it would be. They are polar opposites as far as robot combat is concerned. One is quite unimaginative, but a fun yet very tough, sturdy design. One, meanwhile, is quite a novelty machine, but it's also very destructive. Both very different machines, both on a mission to make it past the heats here, and I think Duck are going to do it here with a good push and shove on Sweepy. Yes, down goes Sweepy. Duck secure themselves 3 points, and I think that alone will get them to the top of the table for this heat after Sweepy sat at the top for so long. What a fight to end the heat on. Duck starting very strong, getting underneath Sweepy and very nearly flipping it over. Sweepy, knowing how much of a threat that front plough was, decided the best thing to do was to completely remove it and did so with style. Duck, knowing that their weapon had gone, knew they had to act quick. They used their aggression and their speed and their pushing power to their advantage, opening the pit and sending the number 19 seed scuttling down into the abyss. Well done, Duck.
A second swiping of the beak, but Duck keeps quacking on to pit Sweepy to take first tonight. It's been another enthralling night of action in the arena as for the second week running our seeds dominated proceedings as Duck and Sweepy once again booked their places in the bracket. That's all from us tonight, but join us next time when the X-Series champs Waddle Dee Meta return to the Warzone alongside the dangerous Third Nightmare. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
It needs to turn into like dust and just as I say it.
Hang on. It's just like. Nani?
Right.
Nani?